beaches, sun, paradise, and in a perfect world, we probably would only include that into our memories for 2023.
But the reality is the year brought again the best of times and the worst of times. No doubt Typhoon Mora and recovery consumed majority of our lives this year. You can guess where that will end up in our countdown. Half a day, I'm Nick Delgado.
And I'm Cruz. This year, the KUAM News Countdown, the top 10 stories of 2023 recreated with the help of you all, our viewers. And we pull up those stories and play them just as they aired this year.
At number 10, consumer-grade fireworks is made legal again this year.
The discussion was explosive for both the community and senators.
The measure by Senator Dwayne Nicholas that would make consumer fireworks legal again is causing some fireworks of its own. Senator Tello Typhoon has emerged as the most vocal critic of the bill. She's introduced multiple amendments in a bid to increase safety and responsibility, but which supporters see as attempts to derail or at least water down the measure. At one point, it got a little too personal for Nicholas.
And I'd like to ask, Madam Speaker, I'd like to ask the author of this legislation, does he plan on selling fireworks in his stores? I would like to ask, and not just, Madam Speaker, not just the author of the legislation, but every sitting senator here, do they plan on selling fireworks? I'd like to ask the question.
Point of personal privilege.
I'd like to ask the question.
Senator Nicholas, please state your point of personal privilege.
Ma'am, I'm insulted by that question. All I've ever wanted was to make people happy. That's it. Just so they can enjoy fireworks, safe and sane. And I didn't plan on selling the fireworks. I didn't even actually think I was going to run. But they told me, they said, Senator or Sir, if that was the best way to get it through, rather than collecting signatures, it's best if you pass it on the floor yourself.
Typhoon introduced various amendments to include imposing a tax on the fireworks and greatly limiting the times and days which they can be used, all of which failed.
Wait, you do me a favor, I'll vote for your bill. If you vote for my bill, that's what goes on, people. That's what goes on in this body. It's not in the best interest of you. This amendment was so simple. At least this amendment, you don't want to put any rules and regulations in here to make sure that it's safe on this island. You didn't want to do that, then at least let's limit it. Limit it. And if everyone in here who wants to hate me because I'm standing up here fighting for what I think is right, then hate me. Oh my gosh, join the crowd. Join the crowd, because I'm not going to let this go. I wasn't elected to make deals on the floor. If you vote for my bill, I'll vote for yours, or get mad because I didn't vote.
Point of personal privilege,
there is nothing
Please state your point of personal
and
privilege. Senator Nicholas, you have the floor. Please state your point of personal privilege.
She's accusing me of making deals. I don't make deals. I never go around asking people for their support.
Madam Chair,
I'm going to do that or do this.
Senator.
Senator Tello, give him some time.
Ma'am, I will.
All right.
Enough.
I've never done that.
Senator Nicholas has the floor. Senator Kanata, Senator Typhoon, Senator Nicholas has the floor. I've asked him to state his point of personal privilege. Please state.
What did I do to?
Please state your point of personal privilege.
She's accusing me of making deals, and I don't do that. I don't do that. I've left everything up to the body and to them if they wanted to support it. I've never lobbied for this. I've never gone to the senators here to lobby for anybody. I've never made backroom deals. You're accusing the wrong person of doing that.
That was on Friday. When they picked up Monday morning, Typhoon was all set to make yet another amendment, but Senator Cruz challenged that, saying they already called for the question, which would effectively end further debate. But Speaker Therese Terlahi disagreed, this time prompting Vice Speaker Tina Barnes to ask repeatedly for a pause to sort it all out.
Madam Speaker, I'm asking for a moment's recess. There is a motion on the floor. It's not debatable.
There is no motion on the floor.
I am making it on a point of inquiry based on a timeline that needs to be looked at.
Vice Speaker,
so
what is your motion?
For a moment's recess so that we
You
can
do
do
not
a
have the floor
clarification.
to make that motion.
Madam Speaker,
I'm
on a
serious.
point of inquiry, then I ask for a motion to overrule the presider and ask for a call of the vote. That's all I'm asking.
Eventually, a recess was called, which stretched through the rest of the morning.
We're back from recess, but we are still without a quorum, so I'm going to recess until 2 p.m.
Nestor Lecanto, KUAM News.
At number 9, a multi-agency effort to relocate Guam's homeless from squatting in properties across the island had heads turning.
An initiative to clean up areas turned eyesores while helping those in need has taken a pause, but not before more than a handful of people were forced to move out of campsites they set up next to a busy Delgado intersection.
Operation Relocate the Homeless. This is an interview with KUAM and Attorney General Douglas Moylan early Thursday. We were asking about the initiative as the 5-day notice has since expired for those living in the Deo Encampment.
But I think for all involved, we have to keep the date and time confidential. It is these encampments, and this encampment in particular has been in the reports seen as having drug use and weapons in there. The community will see the results hopefully very soon.
And soon was just minutes later. KUAM is first at the site near the Micronesia Mall intersection. While speaking to a couple of the people packing up, we see Delgado Mayor Melissa Savares and her team arrive.
You guys are still sorting things out? Yeah, okay, so I have all your paperwork, your verifications. Public health is there, so they can help you. Where's the bus? There's no bus that came?
A woman who once lived here returned to help her relatives move out.
Bring it out, so that, because this needs to get cleared. Let her bring that, yeah.
Savares giving them promising news.
We have a place. There are different agencies that are there that are going to help you.
A large amount of GovGuam officials, including Office of Homelessness Assistance and Poverty Prevention, Department of Public Works, and Guam Police Department responding. SWAT officers quickly stormed the property to clear it out. We follow close behind.
You're gonna have to give us some space. You can follow it, just in case.
Officers armed and in full gear as they head into the jungled area and keep watch of their surroundings.
Hey, sir, just until we make sure it's safer, just remember.
The officer instructs us to keep a distance until they search those living here. A closer look beyond the trees, we see more than a handful of people slowly being brought out. Officers searching each of them and letting them know they need to go today.
Yeah, there's one more guy. Yeah, but I'm not there.
We take a look inside at the setup once everybody is brought out of the jungle. Police letting the mayor and others know they still need to secure the area.
Just wait over
We'll
there.
get you guys out here.
Just wait over there.
Okay? Even you, Mayor, for your own safety, okay? Because I already found...
Frank, take him, let him know the stuff are over there.
Yeah.
We'll help him.
And this officer letting me know why they had to keep watch for everyone there.
Just for your info and safety, we already found knives on these people, so try not to get too close for your own safety.
We again speak with the Delgado mayor.
Wow, seeing the cops mobilize like that and seeing all the resources that are coming out here for an effort like this, people might be torn about what they're seeing. What can you say to that?
You know, this is really, I'm concerned that emotionally some of these people might feel that they're being picked on, but I really want to just assure that we're here for their safety, and we're going to make sure that that whatever their services that can be, they can afford to take advantage of it.
By midday, much of the items were bagged and labeled. Government-owned truck beds, excavators, and more ready to clean up the private property. It's just the start of more to come to address the island's homeless problem. As for those who once called this area home, the mayor says 3 were placed into a temporary homeless shelter. They will get additional assistance to help them get back on their feet. The rest of them went to stay with relatives.
At number 8, load shedding.
Multiple nights in the dark since Typhoon Mora. Guam Power Authority now hopeful to keep the lights on.
There were two main issues that placed GPA on the public hot seat since the storm. The protracted repair of downed transmission lines despite the transition to more than 90% concrete poles, and the state of generation capacity, where as of late load shedding has returned. GPA General Manager John Benavente says the current scheduled outages are due to a boiler tube leak at the Cabras 2 base load unit last weekend, and it's expected to be back online by Saturday. But no question, the current generation capacity is very vulnerable.
The most critical period of time is between now and when Ukudu is completed. So therefore, we are working to try and come up with solutions.
The solutions include repair of the 20-megawatt GIGO turbine and asking large customers, such as the hotels, to crank up their generators when peak demand exceeds capacity. Benavente says customers can help too, and it could be as simple as turning off water heaters during peak hours.
We have about, 30,000 homes on the island. You take half of that, 15,000 homes times 2 kilowatt is 30 megawatts. You see what I mean?
Meanwhile, Oversight Chairman Will Parkinson raised what many customers post-storm were complaining about.
And you also testified that this was the fastest recovery we've ever had. Is that accurate? Is there no recovery that has been faster than this?
No recovery of 150 mile per hour winds was ever faster than this. That's my testimony. You can have a recovery of dolphin, or whatever, we came on in 2 or 3 weeks, but that's even less than 100 miles per hour.
Parkinson also asks, what about an underground system? Benavente says they're looking into what could be a $2.3 billion to $7 billion investment.
Back then, a concrete pole system is 3 times that of a wooden pole system. An underground system is 10 times more than a concrete pole system.
Still, he defends his team's response.
No uncertain term in my mind was this not the fastest recovery. And I'm very proud of the men and women and of GPA for all the work they have done, and also for those that came in to help us.
Nestor Lecanto, KUAM News.
At number 7, the debate over a new medical complex once again takes the same spot as last year. The discussions leaving politicians and healthcare professionals at odds.
The governor is making the case that Crown land in Barrigada is the best site for a new medical complex, and that a complex that includes other health facilities is best suited for the island's future needs. She says a lot of thought and planning has gone into her proposal, and what she needs now is the people's support.
We have a bill now, Bill 184, that's in the legislature. And that, like John said, we have to go through the legislature to buy the piece of property or to lease it. To please work with your senators and ask them to vote for Bill 184.
The governor has also been working her federal contacts for help with funding. Specifically, she's met with top FEMA officials who've told her there is money available should GMH meet certain thresholds.
They've done this in Puerto Rico and they've done this in the U.S. Virgin Islands. They've done it for hospitals and they've done it for infrastructure. So they're also talking to the GPA and GWA on how we can get funding to harden more.
The governor says she also has the strong support of Indo-PACOM Commander Admiral John Aquilino, who she met with last week in Hawaii.
He is very aware all the way up to the Pentagon, Department of Defense, about our need for funding for the hospital. The Assistant Secretary of the Navy, Meredith Berger, is in close communication with me. She is the person that's in charge of all installation of Navy bases, not just in the territory, but throughout the nation. Everyone that I'm communicating with is aware and they know about our need for the $800 million fund for the hospital. $800 million is an estimate. That's the Army Corps of Engineer kind of estimate, but I'm sure, we can negotiate and, depending again of cost of construction and labor and so forth, right? And that's why I'm very urgent that we do this right away.
The governor will also be making her case in the next few days with local veterans groups, village mayors, and the public at large. All this in the hopes of ultimately convincing lawmakers to pass a bill authorizing the purchase of Barrigada Crown land to build a complex on. Nestor Lecanto, KUAM News.
At number 6, the failing grades in the Guam Department of Education. And we are not talking about the grades of the students.
The campuses were not making the grade, many severely hurt after Typhoon Mora. The law was changed to give Guam DOE more time to comply with meeting health requirements. The issue had led to students sharing campuses and alternate bell schedules. The road to get the schools up to par to this day is far from over.
Just come and assess the school throughout, and as well as provide the maintenance needed to run the school. I think we wouldn't have this problem. And honestly, it's always a top telling us what to do versus us voicing our concern of what needs to happen.
This 5th grade teacher at Inalahan Elementary School is frustrated with the dynamics at the Guam Department of Education. Cheryl Manglotnya, an educator of 23 years, calling for the necessary resources from the top of GDOE for consistent upkeep, not just in preparation for public health inspections. Manglotnya adding teachers are left constantly meeting demands, having to dig into their own pockets.
Our school was ready. I think we were ready to open on the actual first day instead of the 23rd, because we're used to that. We're used to just being told you need to open, and regardless of the resources you are provided, you are going to open.
And despite Inalahan Elementary passing public health inspections with a C grading, Manglotnya is pleading for lingering issues to be addressed before students come back to class, like mold mitigation, students at risk of breathing in the mold from the air conditioning.
Please address that part. We don't know if we have to wait for contract to clean that as well, but there is mold underneath the aircon lids. After the storm, as well as the summer when they turn off the aircons and no power down here, yeah, you can see the mold and you can see it underneath. I think it's pretty bad.
And while she waits for word on when mold mitigation will be underway, Manglotnya says staff has been working tirelessly to prepare for the Chiefs to return to school.
We will make it happen. We make it inviting for the kids because we're from here. Majority of the teachers are from Inalahan, so we kind of invest in our own kids.
GovGuam has said it's working on procuring contracts for mold mitigation. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers also completed its debris removal program from all 41 public schools.
Department of Public Health Director Arthur San Agustin is charged with 5 counts of tampering with public records, obstructing governmental functions, and official misconduct, each with a special allegation of crimes against the community.
We enter a plea of not guilty.
Chief Environmental Health Officer Masatomo Nado is charged with obstructing governmental functions and official misconduct with a special allegation of crimes against the community.
Enter a plea of not guilty.
The pair are among 2 government corruption cases handed down in the Superior Court of Guam. Both accused of allegedly approving health inspection reports prosecutors contend never happened at Simon Sanchez, George Washington, and Southern high schools. San Agustin and Nadeau appearing before Magistrate Judge Benjamin Sison today for arraignment. Prosecutors wanted the duo to have no contact while the case is underway, but the court ruled against it following arguments by defense. San Augustin's defense attorney Jay Ariola calling out Attorney General Doug Moylan both inside and outside of the courtroom.
So what can you say after coming out of today's arraignment?
On behalf of ART, we thank the judge for hearing us out and providing reasonable conditions on his release. As we indicated to the court, there's a serious problem when the Attorney General takes it upon himself to indict government officials in the course of their work. I use the word hamstring. The AG's office is hamstringing the government of Guam and making it very difficult. I mean, how do you expect these guys to do their jobs, inspect the schools, when you're telling them you can't communicate, you can't have any contact? It's just ridiculous. The charges themselves are specious, as I said. Once these things are revealed for what they are, we intend to essentially litigate this case and allow Art to return to his position. We think after the evidence and everything is fully reviewed, Art will be acquitted of any charges, if not have them dismissed outright.
Clearly, you and Tom Nadeau are still on the job, still doing. There's a lot of work to do. The school's in crisis mode. How is this case, if at all, impacting those efforts?
Because of the nature of the case, I've advised Art not to provide any comments, just to do his job, do the best he can. And again, we don't want to have to, face scrutiny or whatever over, what he has to do versus these charges. It just emphasizes the political.
Of course.
The political nature when you have politicians clamoring about government corruptions and things like that. This case is about pressing a button that sends out sanitary permits. June 30th of every year. Thousands of sanitary permits are sent out June 30th. Does the law require public health to inspect every premise before June 30th? No.
Right.
No, it doesn't. So why is he charged with a crime for not inspecting Simon Sanchez and GW? And the law doesn't require it. It's as simple as that.
And so
He's made a crime where none exists.
And you pleaded not guilty here today. That's evident. We'll see how it moves
He is
forward.
not guilty, and we even doubt that there's even a crime.
You saw coming in at number 5 a related story on the GovGuam corruption investigations unfolding this year.
At number 4, threats of violence targeting our local schools.
Some investigations led to students being taken into custody, many threats causing chaos, leaving parents worried for their students' overall safety.
A lockdown at St. Anthony Catholic School.
Oh, this is scary, especially the recent school shooting too in the States. You just reminded that it can happen here too.
SWAT, Guam police officers, and Homeland Security investigators surrounding the campus, armed.
I was worried about my daughter, man. Yeah, I was scared. That's why I didn't dress up and then I just gonna go, yeah.
School officials alerted at 8:15 Wednesday morning. Administrators finding a note threatening violence on the campus. Parents crowding the campus within minutes after hearing the alert, lines stretching all the way around the corner, each one here to make sure their child is safe. Flory Achate takes a moment to hold her grandson Matthew close.
Of course, the family is worried of that because of the threat, right? But now I have me, so thank you, Lord.
An emotional time. And many more sharing that same feeling once their student was brought out of the classrooms.
Relieved, just relieved that they're okay and everything.
Authorities also searching the neighboring Tumuning Elementary. Police giving the all clear for both schools just before 11 a.m.
I'm glad to see the response with the Guam Police Department. It looks like they're on top of things, so I feel pretty secure.
Police say no injuries were reported.
At number 3, we bring you a tough one. Guam's roads claiming the lives of 29 people. Police say in many of the recent crashes, speed was determined to be the cause.
Each crash just as heartbreaking as the next. But it was the crash caught on camera out front at Chico Pilas that has many puzzled why seeing that horrific image wasn't enough to prevent more traffic-related deaths.
Shoppers at this Jigo Strip mall still coming to grips with what happened in this parking lot just after 2 p.m. Monday afternoon. The surveillance video capturing the startling moment. A car is suddenly speeding north on Route 1 Marine Corps Drive before apparently crashing into another vehicle heading in the same direction. The impact so strong that the car up front flew into the air. The speeding car goes airborne as well before hitting a concrete pole, being torn into pieces. The sedan is seen flipped over, mangled in the parking lot. The driver, first responders say, is a woman found unconscious and not responding. She was rushed to the Guam Regional Medical City. KUAM has learned from authorities that she did not survive. Her name has not yet been released. Eyewitnesses Monday afternoon quickly trying to figure out what they just saw.
This is actually the front of the car. That's all the way down there.
There, it's all there now, halfway.
The evidence of this incredible crash still left behind. As you can see right here in the parking lot, orange markings, some car part debris along the main road, and of course, this car right here heavily damaged. Shoppers today remain stunned as images and videos of the crash circulated quickly on social media.
And then I was walking in. I came into the store already.
I was, starting to work. I clocked in and I was starting to work. And suddenly my boss came in and asked me, where did I park my car? So I told my boss, oh, I parked in the front. And then my boss, told me, oh, Linda, your car is totaled. I go, what? So I walked out and I saw my car.
Linda Farron was in her car just minutes before the crash. Her roof smashed in and windows shattered.
I was imagining that if I would have stayed in my car for another 2 to 3 minutes, probably my head would be gone. Yes, because it's not too long since, not even 5 minutes, not even, I believe not even 7 minutes since I came in there. I was just starting to work.
Though still shaken, she says she feels lucky to be alive.
I'm trying to stay strong, so, I'm just, doing these things where I have to tow my car somewhere, but I'm okay.
Joe Matanonia also recalls the chaos.
Honestly, it looked like a scene from a movie. Like everything kind of like exploded, and then, like I said, it kind of disseminated. So it looked crazy how the engine, I guess, was at the IG coffee shop, and then like you really couldn't see anything but debris. And like I was just more concerned, like, oh my god, like where's the person in the car, and like, what happened to them and stuff like that. So it was pretty scary.
A troubling scene even one day later. KUAM learning from authorities close to the investigation, the incident apparently started from a separate police call made in Dedo near the KUAM Home Center. That's where we spoke with Rick Castro. He says he was heading home at the time he drove up and saw the wreckage.
It just looked like pure carnage from the beginning of the parking lot to the very end near the Island Girl Cafe. It's just a heap of metal there.
The aftermath, he says, looked like a war zone.
It was just the worst I've ever seen. At the very end, it was just pretty much a heap of metal, maybe at the most 3 yards, cubic yards of heaping metal. And for that to be crushed in that way was just unbelievable. And the cars that were struck on the way towards that little ball of metal that was left was unbelievable.
Guam police are looking into unconfirmed reports that the driver involved in the crash was also involved at an alleged stabbing in Dedo that afternoon. KUAM spoke to the home center manager, Mike Wu. He tells us that nothing happened in the store's parking lot, and his camera surveillance footage only caught the car speeding by on Marine Corps Drive. Meantime, authorities with Guam Highway Patrol continue to piece together the evidence into what has now become yet another tragedy. This one claiming the 18th traffic death police recorded this year. Julian Hernandez, KUAM News.
And at number 2, more than a handful of homicide investigations this year. Police have been able to catch the suspected killers in each case.
The youngest murder victim of the year was only 1 year old. Still, it's a separate case, the brutal killing of Army veteran Jason Susuiko, that investigators are actively trying to solve. To date, 5 people have been charged in his murder.
This is the Paget Manor home where Army veteran Jason Susuiko took his final breath. The windows today are shuttered. There's furniture and other items left dumped outside on the property. But a quick glance, you would have never known of the gruesome killing that unfolded here at the beginning of the year.
It's scary.
KUAM speaking with multiple people living along Route 15 today in shock to learn that a murder happened so close to home.
I lived there for over 10 and a half years with this is actually my in-laws place.
And you're just steps away after finding out what happened so close to home. What's running through your mind?
Man, that something this tragic can happen just right next to you and you wouldn't even know. It's crazy out here these days.
Several of them speaking with us off camera for their safety. The crime scene also neighbors the popular golf course in the village.
This is a family place and, normally normal things just happen here and not as, I noticed, my sister-in-law got robbed a couple months ago. And even at having the gated wall here, just that would rattle you and keep you concerned of what's really happening these days.
As we reported, Susuiko's body found badly decomposed in the jungle area off Route 15 in Jigo back in January, about 4 miles up the street from where the alleged killing occurred. It was through police sources that investigators have now been able to pinpoint 2 suspects. Defendants Jason Babalta and Cynthia Kanata, both facing charges of aggravated murder and guilt by complicity in the Superior Court of KUAM. Kanata allegedly lured Susuiko to the home to use meth when the attack occurred, police learning it was over a drug deal gone wrong.
So you said that this is usually a quiet neighborhood? Like, mostly families, right?
Yeah. Friendly.
And now hearing that right next door from the main road, or have you seen those people,
Well,
Cynthia? And
Yeah, we saw them, but we don't really, we don't talk to them.
Police sources alleging there were 2 others involved in beating Susuiko to death before using a car to dump his body. Criminal detectives are not releasing any information about the 2 unnamed suspects. As of Monday afternoon, both unknown suspects remain at large. Meantime, neighbors recall hearing people arguing at the home daily.
other neighbors have told me that they see a lot of police activity at that house.
Yeah, a lot sometimes. No, actually, most of the time.
Most of the time?
Yeah.
A lot of cops
But
there.
yeah, we just see it, but we don't stop by or look at them.
This stretch of road is the same area a pregnant woman was randomly shot at back in 2019 while on her way home from work. The mother survived the incident. For now, residents today are left having to watch out for one another, adding there's still a need for greater police presence.
Well, we don't like that kind of people. We are quite on our street, but we don't want anybody like that who's going to be with us or next to us. We don't like that.
We just gotta all look out for each other, man, and just keep our ears more open often and get together with the neighbors also, and and like a neighborhood watch thing. We don't usually have one here, but it never used to be like that here.
While authorities have yet to arrest the 2 remaining suspects believed to be on the run, both Babalta and Kanata remain held at the Department of Corrections. Prison records show Babalta has multiple criminal cases against him that goes back to 2012. Just this past February, he was arrested for aggravated assault in an alleged carjacking.
Now to #1 story this year, and you guessed it. Typhoon Mora left destruction in its wake, and your news leader never missed one day of bringing you the news, despite the fragile infrastructure in the immediate aftermath.
We thank you all so much for your trust in us this year. We have so much more to look forward to in 2024. And now to your top story of 2023. Happy New Year, stay safe.
And stay beautiful always.
Very near to Guam, if not directly overhead.
Inside and stay indoors as we are in condition readiness 1.
This is our Typhoon Mora right now. That is upgraded to a category typhoon this afternoon with maximum sustained winds of 100 miles per hour, making a target of Guam this evening. And we're expecting a very near passage, if not a direct passage over Guam on Wednesday.
Up to 125 mile per hour sustained winds with gusts exceeding 140 miles per hour. This thing is intensifying.
Okay. A lot's happening as this typhoon's passing north of us. So far, we still got power. Our generator's running, but this extreme heavy winds that we're experiencing right now really impacting the building, and so I'm wondering how you guys are doing out there, because there's leaks galore, flooding, and my socks are wet.
I'm here in the central part of the island in Manilao, nestled between the University of Guam and George Washington High School, just waiting out the storm. This area is usually busy with cars and people, and today it is empty from what I was able to safely observe. And while we're on that topic, the weather looks like it is intensifying just compared to when I woke up this morning, and I have to say it is a scary thing to witness.
Power that's been off since 9 a.m. this morning still remains to be cut off. It has not been restored yet.
The Northern Marianas spared from the brunt of Typhoon Mora, but the CNMI government still exercising caution as they prepare for a post-typhoon response on Rhoda.
Still doing okay, but the newsroom. Suki, how's the newsroom?
Oh, very wet.
Oh no.
Water is coming in everywhere.
Yeah, water's coming out of everywhere, and so we had to get everything up off the floor that might have been there, protecting what we didn't already cover on all the reporters' desks here.
Morning. I am so glad we are safe. We have weathered the storm. The worst has gone by.
Mangoes on the ground. Careful, Jeff. Pieces of the building everywhere. Alarm's still being set off, but look over here behind me. More floodwaters. These trash bins are at least 100 feet away from where they were parked. Hear me through the alarm system? These shutters ripped off right at the start of the storm.
It was really hard. I mean, everything is a mess. Our house is flooded and everything is wet. But I'm thankful that we're still around, you know?
Still alive.
Yes. Those things are, I mean, they're just replaceable, you know? Our life is not.
And we lost everything, including clothes. All of our clothes are wet. Food, we don't have anything to eat.
I think I'm still in shock. I mean, to be able to walk out of here and then getting in the truck, and I couldn't shut the door because the water, my brother had to pull, and then driving here, and we had to seek refuge, family down in Nukudu. 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning at the height of the storm. But when I came out and I saw the flood, it's crazy.
Broke the wall of the building. What the heck?
And it's not coming fast enough. It's not coming fast enough. And if it's coming, and because it's not coming fast enough, there are excuses. And I'm sorry that I have to say it, but it's an excuse. It's an excuse, whether it's coming from the Mayor's Council of Guam, whether it's coming from any other agency. It's an excuse if it's not coming fast enough, because again, our people don't deserve this type of recovery. Certainly not. I mean, if we knew, if all we were doing was, if our eyes were gazed on the Weather Channel, our eyes were gazed on meteorologists reporting pre-storm, you should have already been considering that post-storm, all of this was going to happen.
Again, I ask everybody to conserve. I've seen pictures of people washing the roofs. And just by the way, that is against the law, and it can be fined. I am going to be issuing an executive order asking people to conserve, asking people not to water their plants, not to wash their cars, not to clean their driveways or their roofs, because that is forbidden use of water during a state of emergency. And please respect the property, and please don't tamper with those generators. Don't destroy the water buffaloes. I've heard about that too. That's why I said in the beginning, please, let's be civil, let's be kind, let's be considerate of people, and like we said, let's work with our neighbors and help each other.
And let's thank the responders out there, both in the public and private sector. The power crews are going through the villages, the water crews are going through the villages. Nothing makes them feel good once they turn you on.
The whole house is gone, so it's really hard right now, but we're just trying to get by day.
How's the family? What are you doing to make sure your family's as comfortable as possible?
Well, right now we're at the shelters because there's nothing else we can do. We're just hoping that, everything will be a little bit quicker because everything's just moving too slow.
Yeah. Days keep on going and
days are longer, nights are even longer. Yeah.
Okay. Any message that you want to share with the feds that are here to help?
I know that they're doing all that they can. I know everybody's working, I don't know what to say, but I just hope that everything moves a little bit quicker than how it is right now.
Don't wait for FEMA to clean up. Take photos, talk to your insurance, and get your recovery process going.
Out here disposing of these are the typhoon debris left over.
Yeah.
How was the typhoon for you guys? It hit you guys hard?
Yeah. Well, we got wet, the whole upstairs got wet, downstairs, but we still have a roof over our head. That's the blessing.
They've been working together hand in hand in tandem to get fuel out to you, with stations coming online. More stations, I want to say over a dozen gas stations coming online as of this morning. So that's great news to the people of Guam. Again, no fuel shortage, but I know that everything is linked. The fuel panic is a result of, no power. We need power to, run our generators for our cars, to cook, basic necessities. And so I just want to be clear to the people of Guam, there is no shortage of fuel supply on island. It was a distribution issue.
The line is wrapping around this laundromat because people just want to go home with clean clothes. I'm joined by Santa Rita resident Tony Cruz.
Yes.
Sir, how long have you been waiting in line?
It's about maybe 4 hours. I've been here even last night. I couldn't even wash my clothes.
as I mentioned, you are from Santa Rita, so you had to make the travel all the way up here, and as we know, gas lines are so long.
It's so long that I have to limit my travel. But what can I do? The clothes are so wet. And even my house is broken. I'll be honest to you. Who wants to see my house? You're welcome. It stinks. It's dirty. It's unlivable.
Of course, we're here at Astumbo Elementary Shelter. We're here because we will take over this, help assist Red Cross with this distribution, because the shelteries are here. So should they need these items, they're here, they can take it with them. We've also reached out to the other 2 shelters in the village for residents that are in the shelters and need these kids to go home.
We haven't had storms since 20 years ago, so things are unexpected, and we have to just be humble and, try and work together.
Is there a message that you want to send to those workers who are working to repair everybody's power right now?
Of course. I wanted to tell them that thank you so much for all your hard work. And yes, we do I feel for you as well. You leave your families for so many hours, and it's dangerous out there, and especially with our weather, we have rain, shine, and you don't know what's going to happen out there, and safety first.
This typhoon is intensifying. It was bumped up to 125 mile per hour sustained winds with gusts exceeding 140 miles per hour. This thing is intensifying. This could become a Category 4 typhoon, something that will be a significant threat to folks on Guam.
Des and Nick, this is one of the emergency shelters set up for the storm. Typically, it's a cafeteria for elementary school kids. Now, the setup looks like this. It's sectioned off with tape, and staying here is the Antonio family, the youngest of them, only 6 months old.
I always pray to God to help me and my family and all the people of Guam.